Well, good morning as we're sitting here at LTV on this beautiful morning, Friday morning, July 7th, year 2023, here with the Hello Hello Show. My name is Haim Mizrahi, continuing with the tradition of public access. And, of course, the tradition of the Hello Hello Show that's been on the air since 1980. Of course, not to fail to mention the contribution by Fraser Dougherty, the founder, Francis Ann, that had a lot of influence and power behind and encouragement behind the idea of LTV public access is forming here at the east end of Long Island, and of course, a huge group of followers such as yourselves out there that make it your business knowingly and unknowingly to enhance and fortify the concept of public access. We're getting together for a a group art show which is already up and running for a reception tomorrow, July 8th, year 2000, and that's a Saturday, July 8th, 2023. Reception is from 3:30 to about 7 o'clock, and we have on display Renee Dahl, Barbara Maslin, Chris LeCoeur, Setha Lowe, who else? Of course, we have Steve Raum, and we have at the kitchen area, just as another kind of replica of another kind of small group show of the same artists with small pieces, and then we have pieces also of all the artists I just mentioned, including Jody Gambino. So it's going to be fun. I'm hoping for some African percussions, to be able to play and to perform a little bit. That would be nice. Maybe yes, maybe no, but we're there. We'll have the drums that might take place, and I also wanted you to mark your calendars for next Saturday, July 15th, between 4 and 8 at Ashwa Hall, for an exhibition titled Lure, Lure, and an exposition of 40 paintings. And so it's going to be fun also. It's going to be interesting. And on July 16th, Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m., there's going to be a poetry reading taking place of local poets. Come make it your business to attend. And that's pretty much it. I'm actually a not in the habit of promoting. It's funny. I mean, I work so hard and do curation of artists and of myself and all this, but I kind of so embedded within it that sometimes I forget to talk about it or to invite people or to make a point that people need to know about it. So here you go. You know, it's interesting. Yesterday I was talking to you about really. Now, what is that? Okay. In any case, yesterday I recall, and after the fact, I didn't even see the show, the recording that I did yesterday, but it was, every time there's a cancellation or an interview that's supposed to take place and then it doesn't, for me it's one and the same, because there's always enough material to, or enough ideas or enough ways to go about the time that is at our disposal and available. So in that sense, that's what's taking place here. So I was thinking about the introduction that we have available at hand, as granted to us by some known and unknown forces, realizing, the self-regard, just the right amount mixed with the regard, the artistic, creative surrounding is allowing you to experience. And also the level of generosity, when you think about it, there's so much generosity, and there's so many people that actually can be considered as generous with them not even being aware that indeed that's what's taking place. There are people that are indirectly modest and generous in ways that are incredible, mainly by the fact that these people are not aware of that, as many of us would be aware, and of course that will have something to do with the ego. Ego is always there waiting for something to rave about, or something to adapt, or something to add to the list. And then, of course, there's the narcissistic aspect of just like the ego is there, narcissism is there, and it will just pick up anytime you will allow it, or anytime you would not pay attention to what it is that you want to allow it or not, and then it is happening, and then you have to deal with it. Then the world has to deal with it. Then your immediate surrounding must deal with it. So, and then you realize that after the fact that you could have done without much of it altogether. So, when you are able to, unshell yourself, and I use the word shells because this layer is not a soft clothing; it's really crispy and hard material that when you carry it with you, it really separates you from what's really happening in reality. And sometimes when you want to connect again with reality, you feel this numbness that by the way, you shouldn't be surprised. Probably you already know the reason. The reason makes sense that you should feel this way. But since we can really do without, because we realize that this is just not working for us, and this is not what we deserve, especially because we work so hard, so we want to kind of be able to be self-rewarded or rewarded, period, or just enough rewarded so we can continue and at least break even in a metaphoric way, in a form of speech way, and learn from it how it is that you can take it forth to a point where whatever it is that you have at your disposal, and how you dispose of that which you're not going to be using, changing your habits, and maybe making sure that instead of disposing it the way you're used to, you will make sure it ends up in the hands of someone else needy of it. And that concept, that as it is fundamental and meaningful, while it's actually extremely simple to grasp, to understand, to utilize, to put to use, to consider it as a point of reference, a vital one. So, and you know me, if you know me by now, you would know that actually I can talk and talk and talk, but it's really all related and connected to. I always want to bring it back home and tell you that what I'm really talking about is that when you're in front of your creative tool, instrumental, musical, poetic, artistic, when you're, I'm not even relating at all to the fact that I'm going to be sitting here and talk to you about the blank canvas and what it really means and how difficult it is, or that I get hit by this reality standing in front. I heard some artists that I know for years, and they really talk about, oh, you wouldn't believe how long it is that I'm facing that blank white canvas of mine. And it's like I feel inside, I feel like screaming to high heavens and say, wake up, man, what are you talking about? So I will not find myself talking to you about the difficulty in penetrating that whiteness, that blankness that happens to have a mind of its own, also that happens to be stronger than me, that this is what I must deal with and struggle with for the longest. I mean, it's just not happening. It's just not happening. This issue and factor that speaks of this blankness and whiteness that demands the utmost, supposedly, it's true, but so what? It demands the utmost of what it is that we have at our disposal available to uh, to offer to the equation, and most likely it will never be enough or won't be enough unless you take about 20, 30, 50 takes and then, count your blessings and pray harshly. Maybe it will happen. Uh, so it demands the utmost for you ahead of time. Like you put that final payment at the beginning, before the beginning of the project. And so, yeah, I skip that because I will approach the very beginning that I was just suggesting that most people are, and I was also, by dictating my rules, dictating my approach, dictating my demands, dictating my expectations, dictating my. And okay, when you ask why, A, before I can, because I can, B, because I know what's good for me, C, um, um, knowing what I'm better off without, D, um, figuring out the importance of kindness that leads to generosity, which I mentioned before, and so many things like that. I can go forever. I mean, maybe I should, and build up a huge, humongous, beefy list of wonderful things, challenging things, terrible things, whatever, and on and on. So if I was to proceed the scenario that speaks for the demands of that white surface, that blank surface, because you gave it the opportunity to ferment and to speak its piece. And even though you can stop it or prevent it, it's not something you would do. You're stuck. And that stuckness actually can last a lifetime. That's the sad part of it. Then you can see people that are in a certain situation that you wouldn't want to find yourself in, and they are aware of the fact that they're in a bind, in a jam, in a whatever you want to call it, that causes them to not be who they're supposed to be creatively and artistically. And the worst thing about it is that most of them don't know how come, why, is it so profoundly stuck, profoundly delayed, profoundly challenged, so definitely. So yeah, I witnessed plenty of casualties that suffered from that indirect self infliction of um, uh, just simply not knowing enough for your own sake, obviously, and therefore for the sake of everything else, to know better, not to go there, yes to go there, not to include it, yes to include it, and I always faced it as a reality where, as if you have some people coming that you invited to your place, and then you remember that your place is a mess, and somehow you created a situation where you have a yeah, I'm gonna have to take this. So yeah, in let me see. Oh man, so many messages. Well, this is life, you know. I can talk about. Oh, don't want to hear about that. Ridiculous, waste of time. Anyway, so we're so the really these stages where you literally find yourself overwhelmed and you really realize, really, because you are a bright person, a coherent person, individual, you're clear, you're logical, your common sense is healthy, you're balanced, your goodwill is second to none, your just demeanor is so appealing. And you know, look at how I described you. I mean, this is what not what we want. This is what we perceive it to be as such. So you definitely will be the one to configure what is it that I, by way of preparation, of course. That's before the time clicks and the clock is ticking. Before this is taking place. When when you have time to choose whether you can watch a movie or you can just read a nice book or you can just make the list of the things that are kind of energy draining factors, so to speak, the ultimate source of obstacles coming to life, and realizing that most of this is due to your direct or indirect engagement, or you know, and for that sake, doing the right thing, doing the wrong thing, you know, and immediately rule out those things and abide by the list that you create, and then you know you don't even need to look back later on, or after this fact, and you realize that you're actually gliding, that your flying device is designed to glide after a calamity is taking place when you lose your engines. That actually can take you, it gives you a window of 50 to 70 miles before you land into safety. And there's always an airport uh, within the radius of 50 miles, you know. So suddenly this humongous monster is allowing you to glide it so eloquently, uh, majestically into safety. So you know, so while calamity number two, inconceivable one, was fermenting in the formation of this actually happy conclusion. That possibility, that probability was looming and fermenting. So sometimes only a gesture of a syllable can change the equilibrium, the balance, the sturdy stage, the guaranteed sturdy stage for longevity and to completely change and completely derail the process and completely take you to a point where it's just the damages are irreversible. Now, yeah, maybe when I listen to myself, sometimes I think I'm too dramatic or too, uh, too in my face. Uh, but but that's certainly not my intention. And I can allow myself to get away with certain things because I know that at the end of the day I will have that which I need to have to show for, and to say, wait a second, okay, before we start, and before you're going to tell me about all the things that I'm going to say yes and yes and yes and no and no and no to you, I want you to check this data. And in the data, you, on the other hand, happens to be someone who can read data, and then you're very impressed. You're very impressed. So therefore, you become very cautious in how you bring yourself about to make a point for someone, for something, about something, and about someone. So it will be absolutely 100% unconditionally constructive and selfless, and with the least amount of involvement from the narcissistic ego, the ego which happens to be narcissistic and whatnot. But then all this will just not be anywhere to be found. So I want to couple it with my own goodwill and my own generosity, just because I have the ability to decipher most situations that I experience, whether before, during, or and after, or all the three together, as a package deal, from the spirit to the soul, from the soul to the body, from the body to the mind, from the mind to the soul, from the soul to, throughout all the heritage of religion, spiritualism, science, arts, and just the level through which being as adamant as you can or choose to will actually result in something solid, long-lasting. I like to hear long-lasting. So, on the other hand, there is the fact that you need to learn also from those who doesn't have supposedly much to offer to you. They won't be evident, like if I was thinking of Chick Corea or Dennis Chambers or Marvin Smithy Smith, great percussionists, drummers, pianists. Of course, I would say absolutely that these are the figures that I learn from. These are the figures that I would accept, the knowledge they accumulated and experience and implement and use and learn from and all this. But also from those who are not so incredibly smart and incredibly talented and incredibly knowledgeable as far as their craft and as far as understanding its place in the world in general and in their own small, private, intimate world. So there must be more than you would expect embedded in the scenario of learning from people that are not necessarily the best and not necessarily bright and flashy and noticeable. And I won't even go into this because this is just personal. You look at a person and something catches your eye. You haven't even spoken to the person. He doesn't look so good, look like borderline homeless or something like that. It doesn't smell good, whatever it is. But you noticed something, and that got your curiosity going and compassion. And then you're already convinced that there's something to look into there. And why not? And to benefit from, because when we benefit from something, we immediately make this world a better place. Plain and simple. I don't care how you choose to say it, how you choose to accept it, or how you choose to neglect it, resent it. It doesn't matter. It's just plain and simple. When you experience this goodness that happens to come from a source outside of yourself, then with gratitude, you perform, your system is grateful, and therefore it does that grateful things that gratefulness make you do. And the world benefits from it, plain and simple. And so you don't want to elaborate more than just saying the world will benefit from it and this and that and A and B and C and 1 and 2 and 3. No, the world will benefit from it. Period. Done. At your disposal, you choose to decipher it, to take it apart. That's fine. But it's plain and simple. It's clean cut. It's just penetrating, very featherish like, So, especially with writing, when I try to interpret my disability to maintain a level of greatness that initially I achieve at first, and it's just looking beautiful and complete. But then you know that the journey is so long, and the demand from that journey is so absolutely undeniably strong and difficult, and then the pressure suddenly kicks in, and it's not like that kind of pressure that you just kind of brush off or kind of put aside. It just doesn't. You have to go through it, and you have to give the answers, and you have to fulfill what is expected of you. So suddenly the rules change. Suddenly you don't feel so safe. Suddenly you're not sure whether you can deliver or not. Suddenly you're not sure about anything, about your location, about your strategy, about your plan, about your execution, about your beliefs, and about your skills of communication, and about planning, and about composition, and about color, and about the relationship with color and composition and color, placement. Wow. So you want to understand where everything belongs, and maybe if you want to take it further, is maybe, and why. If you find out where things do belong, why do they belong where they belong, where they are? So, and then this whyness, and this kind of pretending that you actually can pretend. You're pretending that you can pretend, and you're pretending to pretend, and you're pretending as you actually desire to pretend in order to bring something to life that is detached from the task at hand, and you want to kind of copy paste, and you want to make it like temporarily finite, and you want it like a hairdresser, like a dentist. You want that posture not to move because you want to finalize it, and you want to do it once, and you don't want any revisits of people telling you it didn't work, it's painful as hell, or people coming to tell you that you're a failure. And maybe you are if you don't pay attention, and maybe you are even if it's the smallest detail possible that you skipped, that you avoided, that you ignored, that you took for granted and whatnot. The other day I told my friend, about the Titanic. About the Titanic. I don't even know why. What was it that triggered us to talk about the Titanic? But I told him about this kind of almightiness, almighty feeling, false sense of security, strong and big and everlasting, and the level of conviction by the people behind that concept. This is a majestic reality that mankind managed to bring all its knowledge together, and look at it, the Titanic. So, you know, by the time you had to take this huge chunk of a thing that supposedly is completed and start decorating it, now you plant the seeds for the violent outcome of the seeds of trauma and disasters planted by your misdeeds and ignorance. So, so this mighty thing was put together, and then the scientists and the hardworking individual says, it's good to go. So let's decorate it. And then they started decorating. And then they will decide, they will say, no, 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 no. It's too majestic. It's too strong. Let's cut this in half. We don't need as many. You know, like the boats, the and I'm trying to remember what was the point of reference and why we were talking about the Titanic. When I said, then of course, they needed what? They needed maybe like 80 boats in case some unforeseen disaster is taking place in order to bail out all the people and you decide to put 40 just because you think it's just a waste of time. Because it will be because it will be contradicting yourself supposedly, because on one hand you said it's the unsinkable entity, and therefore why do we need? So even 40 would be like more than just a gesture of goodwill. But then I wanted to make a point to my friend that we can talk about things like that and draw the relevance and learn the lessons and understand, because you want to say to yourself, if I look at this painting, then in the heart of my heart I know that it's not good to go. Well, for you as the artist. And then you but then you want to just let it go, you want to leave it alone. If only because you can do that. If only because you're the one who's deciding about your work, what's going to happen or not happen with it. So you want to just let it be. You want to let it just do its thing after you did so much to bring it to life. So you're saying, no, it's not my job any longer, which is actually a mistake. But anyway, but it's just the way it is. And so now you want to be able to look at it and when you learn something from this thing that unfolds in front of you, you actually use it immediately. It's not like you have to complete a whole cycle and then take that chunk of things that you supposedly learned and it's vital information and literally take it here and start implementing item by item, chunk by chunk, tool by tool, idea by idea. Just the formation of a adjacent reality, a formation of the effective result that tells the story on your behalf about you. And we need that. You know what? Anybody who goes around thinks that he doesn't or she doesn't or they don't want to be considered, talked about, mentioned, appreciated, respected, admired, and favored, and that people would love to have you as a friend. We want that. We need that. We deserve that. And vice versa, of course, because I can so yeah. Yeah, and from there you're able to see a relationship with the early stage where you were the one who's standing in front of the canvas and puzzled and disoriented and not arguing with yourself or with reality about whether it is or it's not. You know it is. You know it is. At least early on with me, even though I went through things that I would have rather not going through and would have rather to have some guidance from someone that will whisper in my ear and say, don't go there, don't go there. stop doing what you're doing, turn around, and so much and so forth. So I was once the one who's standing in front of the cans and staring and dwelling. Oh my God, dwelling because I didn't know better and because I didn't have any other uh, alternative material that I could meddle with, deal with. Uh, it's not like I. And these options that I have today, these are not options that suddenly showed out of nowhere. These are options that I put together myself, and took me some years to realize that what it is that I want to have available to me is going to have to be something that I myself created and I myself place it where I place it, and so much of that. And testing it is easy because it comes from you, it goes to you, it's about you, it's because of you, it's for you, it's also alongside you as a company, as a friend, as a force to be reckoned with. Obviously, will add and will improve and will enhance your attitude, your capabilities, your so much when it comes to who you are and what you're all about. As time goes by, it will be more and more evident who you are, what are you, and who are you. And then, okay, so at the end of the day, you don't want to find out that all you have to offer to the world is emptiness. And again, I don't want to just judge you and tell you that if you're not going to be creating something, then you are no one, nobody, then you are nothing. By no way, not at all. But still, you want to be able to have something at your disposal so you can comfortably feel the fact that you need to worry, but you don't really have to worry in such a way that if this is not going to work for you now, there's just no coming back from it. So there's always room in that sense that you live for the sake of kind of reassuring that maybe, like they say, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, and something basic like this that offers itself to the process itself, and putting a rush to it, and enjoying the time that you have after the fact, because you save time, because you have extra time, because you learn now how to achieve this and achieve it fast. And why not? When I grew up into the world of art, people used to tell me, why are you rushing? Why are you creating 100 instead of only 5? What is this hysteria? They used to tell me, this is hysteria. I mean, why would you want that? Why aren't you taking it easy? And I look at them and I said, what exactly are they trying to tell me? What exactly are they trying to communicate with me? What do they want from me? So my answer, I remember initially, was I do that mainly because I can. And since most people that I know don't do as much as they want to do because they know they cannot. It's not like they can and they choose not to. They cannot and they choose to accept it unless they want to work on it and enhance and improve this attitude, this state of mind, and therefore experience the new results, and therefore to find themselves being able doing things that just a short while ago they couldn't have, but now they can, and they know why, and they know how come. And so I had these stages that I had to go through, and I came from the abyss of being frightened and exposed in front of that white canvas and the blank canvas, that intimidating surface. I know how it felt. I know how frustrating it was, and I know how limiting it was, and I know how energy depriving it was, And I didn't like it at all, but didn't always have the answers how to eliminate it or prevent it and all this. But when I stuck with the idea that this is important for me to address and resolve, then I saw results faster than I thought, pleasantly realizing this works. It works. It works. And because I need it, because it's important, then I do something about it. While I see the opportunity and I see this is it, now I can do things, and now it will be accepted. And now this transaction will be considered as success. And that is the best place that one can be. So when I share that with you about that, you won't find me today talking about staring at the blank canvas. There's just no way. And even if I do, it won't be relevant to anything. It won't be something that I need to learn from, because it's been so long that it's not even a factor in my life that I should find myself at this scenario to begin with, or that I should find myself feeling and thinking that it's at all important to mention it to you and to share it with you, because it won't be. Because just one leads to the other, to the other, to the other, and also quickly enough to the elimination of the other. And leads to the elimination of the other, and leads to the elimination of the other. And yeah, elimination, harsh word, but effective. Out of the way. Eliminate it, meaning kindly suggest to it that it's not needed. So either it can kind of take itself on its own behalf to be evacuated from here, or it can use some help. Just pick it up and put it where you need to put it, that it's just not going to bother you anymore. Now, yeah, lucky for us that it has some playful aspects to it, to this whole back and forth scenario. And when it has the and when it has the and when it has the shared realization on the same level, it and you and it, and it's just exactly like the description I gave you just earlier. A huge Boeing, whatever, 777, 747, whatever, a beast of a machine loses the engines in midair. But it was designed so sophisticatedly, so thoughtful of the scenario that this might happen, and it gives you this blanket of security gliding into safety, and on the behalf of its own safety net preconceived, sending you forth into your safe landing. And this is an experience you will never forget. Never, 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 never. It will be absolutely, definitely imprinted into that external layer of your soul, spirit, of your inner organs, of your you know, the concepts upon which your values vibrate. You know, it will never be forgotten. And quickly enough, if you're an artist, if you're a creative individual, quickly enough, it's going to be there to be aiding you to have extra strength, extra oxygen, extra level of tolerance, extra kind of wide angle to be able to be more patient and more tolerant, as I mentioned already, and to actually pleasantly figure out that you are more advanced than you really thought you are, physically speaking, and of course metaphorically and vis-a-vis the imagination. The storytelling cycle, the poetic storytelling cycle is volunteering a very specific information that can help you feed on the summary of findings and the summary of findings until it's just one little tiny grain that walks around you and circles around you to not only make you feel that you're secured and this blanket of security is maybe something you earned, so indulge, but also vis-a-vis the sound of the buzz. I don't even know. I'm yawning. It's like unprofessional for me to yawn. But I haven't been sleeping much lately. Just too many tasks at hand. But yeah. So ego stands in the corner, observing, waiting for the right timing, for the right thing, and charging and making the move. Narcissism in the corner, sitting, observing, making crucial decisions on how your life is going to be perceived, conducted, and carried on. And so many more, that which is cliche, that which is to be taken for granted, that which is a no-brainer, that which is a matter of fact, that which is a fact of life, that which is second to none, that which is kind of literally hanging in midair, flying or flying or flying, flying, flying or flying or flying, flying, like the real now. What is the real now that doesn't exist? Now, now, already not there. So easily you can say, not now, 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 not now. So it becomes grabbing the future a little bit backwards and then anchoring it in a realistic present, and then letting go, let it go free. It will never capture the opposite of that adjustment that just took place. Never. Therefore, the accurate definition of the now is will survive. Will stick around for the long term. Will be a success that is more definite than not. So not now. And an adaptation to rhythm. 1 to 3, 1 to 3. It's like amazing how you can say not now, not now, not now, not now, now. Present. No present. This is the now. It's amazing how the future will be like no future. It's like no past. It sounds strange, I know it sounds strange, but believe me. Suddenly the triola becomes a paradiddle, a double stroke paradiddle. Just so many variations. Oh my God, it's not even funny. And you don't really have to be a drummer or whatever. It would be nice to be a drummer, but you don't have to understand everything and a lot. You just got to be willing to enter that playfulness. So right there, yes, that. Anyone can do that, correct? And then 1 1 2 1 1 2 1 1. It's like 1 1 1 2 1 1 1 2 1 1 1 1 2 1 1 1. I cannot do it. It's like 1 1 2 1 1 2 1 2 1 1 2 1 1 2 1 1 2 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 1 2 1 1. No, 1 1 1 1 1 2 1 1 2 1 1 1 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 1 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 1 1. So these are accomplishments that are real, that are firm, that are meaningful, that yield results, and make your life easier and bearable. Yeah? And and realizing it and being aware of it is a good thing, no? Don't you think? So now you're casually in front of the canvas, and you don't even need to have any recollections. Really, no recollections. Forget about it. About, like, the nature of what you perceive it to be, so to speak, you know. The nature of what you perceive it to be. The nature of what you perceive it to be. The character of what you perceive it to be. And is it a good thing? Is it not? So you ask the question, you made the world be aware that you're aware of this, and that's a lot, and you can just let it go, and let it be. Maybe now and then you get an email or a text message or a phone call because someone said, oh, by the way, that thing that you stated and wrote 10 years ago, I just bumped into it and read it. I think it's fascinating. So you'll get that kind of emails of mercy, comments of mercy. And you'll take it at face value, and you will most probably enjoy it and appreciate it. I have a feeling you will. And just wanted to read one tiny thing, because just to remind you that we're sitting here Friday morning, July 7th, year 2023, here with the Hello Show. My name is Haim Mizrahi. Continuing with the tradition of public access and the tradition of the Hello Show. Hello Show that's been on the air since 1980. There's something I want to share with you and read to you. Let's see what we got here. And it's really fresh because it's two sections where it will probably summarize unknowingly everything that I just shared with you. Oh, really? Okay. So that's, we got, okay, 5, let's see. So that's what I'm going to be doing here quickly. I think it's crucial that I should read it. Okay. Here we go. Come on, baby. Come on. Okay. And yeah. So this is moreover for an alternative plan, a hike, a climb into the empty space halfway through. You never know when the royal family appears, through the crowd, through the impact of debris. Your sadness now qualifies. It qualifies you as an object of trivial decorations of the troubled soul, while your joy leads you through the path of erratic changes, adding the velocity of an unpredictable erupting emotional deposits as they relate to all the incidents that cannot be qualified by dates or any other points of references. For documentation purposes, and occasionally you spring with the contents of blasts long overdue, and you're satisfied as you're terrified. But reacting to the heavens will bring salvation through the timing. Though the timing does not guarantee a proper timely wound nursing, so when it's your turn to swing back into action, the shade of your profile demands a unique relationship with a cross-implementation between layers, so crucial for growth, yet potentially overburdening your system to its utmost capacity. You are the lucky one in this case. You are grieving by the nature of your becoming the power you seek to possess. Bravo. Even prematurely, even as a smoke detector, even before the jury, even when you sit terribly isolated, squeezed in a way that directs you to reach out without the usual rituals, as your inner alert system gathers the bravery to seek in the total dark and still be surrounded with the decency of a fighter whose ventures carry him over the horizon. Well done, larger than life, as you are and always has been. Wink, wink. Don't even ask me why I wrote wink, wink. But, and then it leads us to the conclusion. Slow burning occurrence. And you know the level of dismay. Blow by following blow. I imagine a hefty impact present. Lucky appearance bailed me out. The system is clear, yet not suitable for consumption. And the cloud above remains, and it remains sweep through the doubt about the outcome, but holding tight nevertheless. I dream for a short while with my hope held high, and the soft feature relentless in having the tendencies, my tendencies, make room for reason to prevail, to erupt through the logic of kindness and simplicity, of an engagement tending to your potential weakness, the weakness of our species. There is still a hint about the result looming with haste, impatiently circling the options of modifications. I love that. I love that. And I don't know, maybe because I'm the only one who can understand it, sometimes we're going to be here tomorrow as we were here yesterday, as we're here this morning, July 7th, Friday morning, year 2023, here with the Hello Hello Show. Keep up the good spirits. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe. And tomorrow, July 8th, 3:30 to 7, we have the opening of the group Archer called Roundabout. Be well.